Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome to 2020's Best Joulei Central Top 10. For those who don't know, Joulei Central is an Instagram account where I make art of my spider character Joulei. She's a spider rights activist, and the in-universe explanation for the pics is that she's trying to show that spiders can fit in with everybody else. But the real-life explanation is just that drawing Joulei is fun. Anyways, number 10, Joulei dies. Oh my god, Joulei, Number 9, Clean Joulei. I specifically remember one day I was telling myself, okay, I'm going to draw the best, most on-model Joulei possible, and damn did I succeed. Everything is the perfect size, that little tilt is just adorable, the pedipalps don't have that headline going through them, the hair is perfectly soft looking, it's just so much fun to look at. Number 8, Relatable Joulei 2. This Joulei is not only relatable, but unlike the first one, actually funny. I just love this first panel. It's so cute and filled with action, which contrasts well to this utterly depressing frame, which I think accurately describes that overworked, lazy vibe. I never described what this post is supposed to represent. I just kind of left it up to the viewer. It's supposed to be what you want to do for the day versus what actually ends up happening because you're just too lazy to bother. But you can also interpret it as being what happens when you overwork yourself. This sort of double relatability is really what makes it shine.
Number 7.
Joulei's Whack Fashion 5. If you've watched the best of 2019, then you'll know that Joulei's Whack Fashion is one of my favorite series to make, since I get to focus on being extra creative with the designs. There's just so much to talk about here, from the shading, especially on the drawers. I went kind of crazy on that one. Joulei's striking design, her unique pose, and even the head hair actually looks good here. I originally wasn't even going to have it on the list, but after looking closer, I've come to appreciate the details. Number 6. Joulei and the Ladybug. Some of my favorite posts are the ones that give Joulei some characterization. Funny pictures and memes are great and all, but I did make her for a story-driven video game that I may or may not complete or turn to an animation or something, so I'm extra happy anytime we get to show off a bit of Joulei's world and her personality. Here you get a piece of that with Joulei's activist side, as well as the first appearance of this Ladybug character with their epic rebuttal sign and weird lips. The comedy is on point, and I think the art is just generally good. Number 5. Joulei the Gamer Episode 2. The second episode in this series where Joulei looks to video games for an escape, but only finds more anti-spider propaganda. The first episode is good and all, but I think the final panel is pretty weak. This one is funny throughout, and it's also the comic where I learned that spider blood is apparently blue. It was also an excuse to draw this just amazing final panel of Joulei crying, which is great as a reaction image. Number 4. Joulei in the Waiting Room, Facing Discrimination, Shake My Head. This one's unique in that it doesn't even need any dialogue. The expressions and body language tell the entire story themselves. Also, the buff fly is one of my proudest visual jokes. For all my pencil drawings, this one's pretty deep and looks good. It was also one of the first times where I really got to highlight the whole spider oppression part of Joulei's world.
Number 3.
Vote for Joulei. This one isn't saying to cast your vote for Joulei. Rather, do it because Joulei wants you to exercise the rights you have that she doesn't. Yet. This one's higher up, not just because the art is good and the Carlos spy joke is a great reference to a story post poking fun at the names I give my characters, but this is the first time I've ever really done anything related to current events. And it also features the return of the Joulei shirt, which has just been sitting in a drawer since the one day I wore it to school under a jacket I kept zipped up. Number 2, Joulei's Whack Fashion 6. Here comes Whack Fashion, yet again coming in to nab the number 2 spot with the Halloween post. Originally I was going to put Thanksgiving activism Joulei here. While that picture looks unusually high quality and Joulei is cute and all, I don't think she looks as good as she does here, and I don't like that I didn't make everything in the image. This one, on the other hand, I'm extra proud of. The hat, the above the head perspective that looks way better than it did in Fly Girl Joulei, the long legs, the web which references the obscure fact that Joulei is actually a spider, those open toe shoes with the sharp nails, and all this is something I made with pencil. It's basically the Whack Fashion equivalent of Clean Joulei from earlier in the list, which is a magic combo that rightfully propels it to the number 2 spot. And one last fun fact, the pattern on the back is actually supposed to be a web, but I forgot the connecting lines. Luckily it still looks good, so not really an issue. Number 1, Joulei fan art. Okay, you guys need to understand something, alright? One day, my friend John and I were just sending random quick little deals over a group chat. His brother Gio was on the chat too. When all of a sudden, John just sends this just insane sketch, just completely out of nowhere. And we just had no idea what to even say about it. Just look at it. It's just a behemoth. It's incomprehensible. The second I saw it, I was like, okay, this has to go on the friggin' account, but I don't know exactly how I'm gonna put it in there. But, eventually I did figure it out, Joulei looking up fan art when she finds this picture, it just freaks out. I tried to match it with that final panel, but I just couldn't. I can't even begin to approach just the utter insanity of this picture. And for that, it is the best Joulei Central post of 2020. This list was actually really hard to make. There were just so many great pictures this year, like Joulei goes to an image specialist, the pissed off Joulei wallpaper that John was using for a long time and might even still be using to this day, Joulei in the house, donut head Joulei, Joulei walk-in, party Joulei, just to name a few. Funnily enough, I was actually going to make the Doodle Potato Joulei #1 as a sort of gotcha moment, as well as the fact that looking at it just kind of makes me feel a certain way I can literally only describe with a reaction image. But in the end, I decided to rank things based on a combination of not just the image quality itself and how I feel looking at it, but also the backstory, comedy, characterization, and even how you guys reacted to it. And I'd say I'm pretty happy with how the list turned out. I don't really have an epic speech like I did with the worst of video. All I really want to do is give yet another massive thank you to everybody. Whether you've been following the accounts as Perfect Joulei was literally seen as the perfect Joulei, or even if you're now discovering this account exists with the YouTube upload. Thanks again, and here's to a great 2021.
Hey Joulei, how's it going? Can you show me how spiders walk?